Welcome to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright. This show is all about honoring you as a spiritual being, having a human experience. You are here for a reason, and it's no mistake that you are here on Earth right now. Spirit has guided you to this very moment in time, so you could hear the messages Pam is about to share with you. She is a multidimensional healer, light language channel, transformation coach, wife and mother, committed to helping you discover the tools and practices to empower you to live the best life you can. You get to choose the spirit path you take. You can connect to the spiritual guidance already all around you. Get ready to live a fully empowered life. This is the Empower Me Show.
Welcome back to the Empower Me Show. My name is Pam Bright, and I am your hostess for this program. I'm so glad that you've joined us once again for this hour of transformation and empowerment. So I do have a beautiful special guest today. Her name is Soodabeh. Thank you so much for joining us. And we are going to delve into the world of angelic communication, support, and empowerment for you in this hour. And we are also going to find out where Soodabeh has been before she actually connected to the angels and how she got from where she was to where she is today. So thank you once again for joining us. I know that you're joining from all over the world. So thank you for coming in from all places in the world, from Africa to Iran to India. Some of you have connected with me from India and Africa both. Thank you so much for that. Soodabeh comes from Iran, so thank you for coming. And we are going to really hone in on who we are as spirit first, because that's always where I go to with this program is we're spiritual beings first. Then we choose to come into form in a physical body. So we're going to be really honing in on who are we as soul? Who are we as spirit in form? What does that mean? And how do we navigate this life with power and purpose and peace? So before we get going any further, I'm going to actually ground us into this moment and bring our support in, all of our support into this moment. The way that I do that is that I bring light language in to ground it into our physical vessels. And so I'll be channeling in the spirits, however that feels and looks and touches you is perfect for you. And you, as a conscious being, get to call in whatever guidance you connect to as well. Okay. So as I connect into my own physical form, my human self, I immediately connect in with my breath. And so I invite you to do the same. Connect in with your breath. It is your sacred connection to the divine. It is our privilege as human beings to be able to connect to the divine and to connect to our essence. And so as I connect to my breath, I invite in all of my guides, teachers, and angels to come into this moment. And I ask the Earth Mother, with all of her wisdom, to bring her energy up through my feet into my core, into my body, inviting in all of the energies that she works with inside of herself. And I invite them into my physical vessel. And I ask the star beings to come in to my physical vessel. I go to the great central sun, that beautiful portal that connects to the other worlds beyond our own solar system. And we ask those energies that want to bring their wisdom in to come in fully. And I invite you to bring your totem animals, your crystal beings, your water spirits, whatever it is that feels right for you to come in now. Ela kena daike tu de da batne su baba idada media. Elutara ma ikuba edua zedundei. Kune sana mai ekubaya tuguaba nela naze. Ana sarakia tatayetana maki itarara. Enanana esatapa nekia baba. Kule shena ma yise umbaba yende ute sanekia. I ask all of these energies to mix with my own so that I am fully present and fully alive for this time with you. Esharabasena maki apapaine. Iki papapaine chuchuchu maise ki papa ne sa papa ne kia. Donte sana makia ne kita. And with another deep breath, I bring myself back into this moment. I invite you to do the same and open your eyes back to this moment in space. Welcome, Soodabeh, to this program. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Pam. That was beautiful, by the way. I felt that there was a welcoming and honoring us in this space as you were speaking the light language, and I could feel it within my heart. I appreciate that.
I love that. Well, we both work with angels, and so we definitely brought them in fully to this moment. And we're going to talk a little bit more about your connection with the angels. And what I got really strongly the first time that I met you, and also when I started reading your book, The Angel Nightingale,
Yes.
is, we are angels in form, aren't we? We have many angels that walk amongst us, and oftentimes they are cloaked in a human vessel, so we don't recognize them as angels. However, when we really connect in with ourself as essence of the divine, then we realize, there's angels all around us, everywhere that we look. So I look forward to hearing about your journey. And what I'd love to know first, and I think that the listeners are also curious about, what was your childhood like and your growing up years living in Iran? What was that like for you?
Thank you for asking that. And growing up, I was feeling not good enough. That was the perception that I had growing up. I was looking at my family, and everybody was tall and beautiful to me, and I was short. I was being mocked, I was being teased about how short I was, and I kept that as a way that not being enough. And growing up with that feeling of not being good enough, I didn't feel that I had anything to say. That immediately put me in a place that I was quiet. And when we are quiet, we can hear. So I was really connected with that intuition with me, connecting with that higher consciousness, God. And I didn't even know that because I just thought there is nothing for me to talk about. Nobody's gonna listen to me, nobody's gonna care about me. And my mom was very strict. She was a teacher. My dad used to work for government and would travel a lot because of his job. I lost my father when I was 13 years old, and that was the beginning of the journey of going into a long journey of depression, because that I always believed that my father was my hero and the one that I could trust and the one that helped me to speak, because he always used to tell me, no matter what, you speak your mind. He would always encourage me to speak, but I would get from the other side of the family that I had nothing to speak about. So that was the beginning of my journey.
Mm, mm. And what a crazy kind of experience from as a young girl with, well, wait, here are my parents. One parent is saying, speak out and be who you are and be bold in who you are. And the other parent is saying, well, you're not good enough. You don't have anything to say. You're worthless, right? Now, they may not have said those words, but that's what you internalized inside of yourself, is what I hear.
Yes, most definitely. It took me a long time investing a lot of coaches and learning about that. That when we are before the age of 6 and 7, our subconscious mind forms. And the thought, the thing that we see around us before the age of 6 and 7, that majority of time we don't even have the access to those information, we decide who we are, that identity forms. So whatever it was, my identity and that belief that I had is just I wasn't good enough. That was the basis of it. And we all have that, not necessarily not good enough, but whatever the belief that we have, it is being formed before the age of 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm. So by the time we get into school, school age, we're already deciding that this is our lot in life. And so how did that shape you as you went through your upbringing in childhood and, in your family system?
Yes, definitely. When my father died, I was 13 years old. So I was the oldest of four children. The youngest one was 2 years old. And my parents had adopted another girl she was my age. So we became the caregivers because my mom had to work two jobs as a teacher to take care of five kids. As a result of that, also, I went to a place that I didn't know who I was, and it wasn't about me anymore. It was about taking care of three brothers and make sure that when my mom come home, she can just do whatever that she needs to do and go to bed because she had to wake up the next day and go to work and the same thing. And I tried to be a good student, but there was nothing I was doing was good enough for my mom. So if I would have gotten, for example, B at a school, that was not good enough. And because her intention, later on I learned, her intention was to tell me, you have the potential to be the best. So, do that effort, go a long time and study better, or whatever that communication that she wanted me to do. But I would perceive it because it was different kind of words that she would use, like, why can't you be smarter than the people get A? And that would communicate to me as, I'm not as smart, I'm not good enough, I'm not as smart, I am nothing, I'm nobody. That was my upbringing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I also hear in that you got to work harder. You got to keep working harder in order to get better. And what a confusing time of, okay, I got to work harder, which means that I'm pursuing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing and I'm pushing, but nothing's getting better. And so was there a lot of, or was there a sense of giving up when you got to that place of frustration of I'm not getting anywhere?
I don't remember giving up. I remember giving up on who I was. I just didn't feel that I was worthy of anything. I had given up on myself, but I had tried a lot. And when my father passed away, it was when I was just going through higher school, the beginning of it. And I felt like it was that part that why should I try? And I didn't have that passion to study anymore. So my grade just went even lower and lower, and to show me, because when we believe we are not good enough or smart enough, what we get, the outside external world prove us, yeah, you are not good enough, you're not smart enough. So my grade would show that I wasn't smart enough. Correct.
I bet. Now, you had mentioned that as a child, as a young adult, even that you, since you weren't really able to communicate much with the outside world, that you developed your hearing, you developed your connection. So how did that equate to who, like, how did that shape you? That's the best way to ask that. How did that shape you in your survival as a young person, and as a person in a family where it was really difficult to even survive?
Yes, it was for a very long time. I wasn't in a good place. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to go one day the next day. So I thought that I was in a different world, that I didn't belong and I didn't fit. And after I graduated from high school, my mom wanted always, that was her dream, to be a nurse. So she said, why don't you just go? Because I had a good grade for nursing school, but I didn't have good grade for medical school, because my dream was to become a doctor. And it started when I lost my father to a sudden heart attack. I wanted to be to save people so they don't experience what I felt. So I went to nursing school, and it was in that time that was a beginning of the revolution took place in Iran, and they were trying to make sure that everybody follow the ideology of the government and only do what they are asking. And one of their goal was to close all the universities and colleges, because they wanted to expel the people that weren't thinking of their ideology. And we were there. I had a midterm exam, and I went to as a peaceful protest to say we are intelligent people. We need the culture. We need the people that are smart, are professional. And it was in that place that I was captured, I was tortured, and I was beaten into a coma. So that took me even back, because I was about almost a week into a coma. And when I woke up, then my life changed dramatically as a result of it as well.
And that right there, I know that there are listeners right now that have had maybe not that experience, but have had that experience of going into a coma, going into some kind of brain trauma, and coming out the other side and going, wow, life looks different. I feel different. I'm relating differently. What do I do from here? So if you're listening and you're in that category, please hold on, because it's going to get better for you. It might not be better yet, but if you hold on to this moment, you're going to get some tips, tools, and techniques, and some hope that life is going to really, like, there's a reason for it. I've also had that experience of going into a coma, coming out the other side and going, oh my gosh, life is like totally different. And now what do I do? So when that happened and you woke up, you were in the hospital. And what was your first, what happened first? Like, did you have loved ones there with you? Were you alone? What happened?
Yes, when I woke up, it was because for a week my mom didn't even know, my family didn't know where I was. So they searched and they found me the moment that I woke up. A few minutes later, I saw that my mom was in front of me and I could see her. And I was scared. I was really, really scared. But I didn't get that place of support that, what something happened and I'm going to support you. It was, uh, again, why did you do this? Why did you go there? Why did you put yourself in that position? So again, I went to a smaller place and a smaller place and a smaller place. Everything, as you said, Pam, the life that we put in those situations for, it is when we sit down and after, going through that trauma, going through that part of the challenges that we experience, we realize that everything that I went through was going to get me to a place that finally I realized, because we have the gift of free will. We have angels, but they cannot intervene at any moment. We have to decide, okay, I had enough. What am I going to do with this information? What am I going to do with which direction I go? You will stay standing on the crossroad and you are deciding which direction to go. Either we are going to go even down and down that dark place and hole that I could call it, and or we can rise above all of that. But my journey, the rising above, it didn't even happen then, because then I got married and I attracted someone that was similar in that communication that my mother was. And we were married for a few years. I had my first child, my son, and I was pregnant with my second my second children, which was my daughter, when my husband, who he was an activist, we both were activists, and he decided to leave Iran. In that process, and 3 years later, when I moved to America to join him, it was in that moment that everything changed, that I realized that I need to make a decision. However, 2 months prior to that, when my younger brother, who was married, they had a 4.5-year-old son, and they had his wife was pregnant 7 months with their daughter, exactly the situation that my husband had to escape Iran to come to America. My brother passed away in a car accident. And I had no idea that day. That was the vision of his death actually was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. The day that I went home after work, because I was a nurse, and trying to hold my daughter, who was 2.5 years by then, to soothe her to sleep. And in a moment, I dozed off. That's how I felt. To me, that's how I felt. And I saw a dead body. And I thought at that moment that it was my husband in America, but it was my brother coming to me to tell me that he's gone.
Mm. Mm. So can you recall, was that the first time that you had a conscious recollection of, oh, something different is happening? Or can you backtrack to other times that you may have been being talked to and spirit was trying to get your attention through your life prior to that?
Yes, but I didn't know that and I didn't understand that. I needed that moment to see that vision to shook me. The later on, when I came to America and I learned about the spirituality, I learned that when I was a nurse and working in a hospital. I was working night shift, and when one of our patients would go through some kind of a distress, and we would call the doctor to come and visit, and I would feel that I knew what was wrong with that patient, which what kind of lab test they needed, what kind of x-ray, whatever. I would get it. And then I would get really frustrated with the doctors. I'm like, why is it that I am a nurse with a little bit of information? I know what to do with this patient. And the doctor didn't know. But I had no idea that where those information were coming to me.
Yep, yep. So hopefully those of you who are listening are getting some ahas as you're listening to this. Where I'm pointing to is we're getting messages all the time. Like spirit is what I consider God or creator, or you can call them angels or your spirit guides. They're trying to get our attention from the time we're born until the age that we are now. Okay. Now, this is the interesting thing that I find, especially in 2024. This is the time for us to really, really let go of all the stops and bring our consciousness to this conversation. Like, it used to be where God was up there or out there or somewhere other than where we are, right? So we would pray and we would ask and we would petition and we go to church and we'd talk to the priest and we'd plead that somehow they could intercede on our behalf and get us some answers. My experience is that now in 2024 is the time where we as human beings get to be called sovereign. And that's a word that has a little bit of controversy in the world. My understanding of sovereignty is I can now claim that I'm a spiritual being and I have as much access to that God as my pastor has in the church. There was a time when that was not allowed. It was not allowed. I would be burned at the stake as a witch. I would be hurt. I would be maimed. I would be ridiculed. I would be shamed if I were to dare say something like that. And I believe that now in this time and age that we get to say, you know what? I have as much access to the God of my understanding as you do. Would you say that's true?
100% perfect. I love the way you said it. We are part of God. There is also a God. If we want to call it, we can. There are people that call it higher consciousness. What the source, the universe, whatever it is, we are part of that consciousness. We are part of that source because we are, as you said beautifully, we are a spirit in physical form. And as our spirit, our soul comes to this life to learn, to grow, to evolve. And the challenges, the thing that we call it life challenges and roadblocks, they are not really challenging situation. They are situation to say, hey, wake up, wake up. You can do something about it. You are in a situation. What are you going to do about it? Because growing up for almost the first 40 years of my life, I thought I couldn't do anything. I wasn't good enough. And now I am in my 40s and they are knocking on my door. I'm talking about angels. Knocking on my door like Soodabeh. You had experienced so much. What are you going to do? We are here. We can help you. Come on, let's just rise above everything because your purpose, little girl, because I was thinking I was little, right? You little girl, your purpose is to learn the language because when I came here, I didn't have anything. I couldn't speak the language. I didn't have money. I didn't have family or friends. My husband left me. I had 2 kids to take care of. And the angels came like, hello, this is just an illusion. that you think you are stuck in this moment and you cannot do anything about it. You can rise above all these obstacles. And that's the reason that I speak. That's the reason I wrote books, because my job is to inspire people. Like, I am not just an extraordinary a person, that we all have that capability. We all that have that power at any given moment say enough is enough, and I am going to create that change.
Oh, I love that. And right there, guess what, guys? We're going to take a break. We're going to leave that to just kind of stir in the cauldron pot that we have just created, okay? So take a break, go get a glass of water, use the restroom, take the dog out, whatever you need to do. And we'll be back in a couple minutes and talk more with Soodabeh about her journey with the angels. And we want to hear, okay, so you just had a near-death experience, you had a coma, you came out, and then how did that start bubbling up and shaping your life the way it is now? So we'll be back in a little bit. Welcome back to the Empower Me show. I am Pam Bright. I'm your hostess for this program, and I'm here with Soodabeh Mokry. There we go. I got your last name correct. I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about her amazing journey from Iran to America and what happened in this process of, repression and suppression and fear and lack and worry to this amazing, beautiful being of light that she is now. So with that, I want you guys to realize and know that you can call in. We want to talk to you. Soodabeh is available for you to assist you on your journey. She's a life coach as well as an angelic messenger. And so she has direct contact with the angels, and they have said, oh, yes, please, I want to work with you. And so if you need a message for yourself for your journey today, please call in at 1-800-930-2819. Talk to Soodabeh or myself, but please talk to Soodabeh because she's an amazing human being. And we will give you what you need, hopefully, so that you can go on with your life with power, with peace, with fun and joy. So Soodabeh, tell us about, you mentioned that you had a vision of who you thought was your husband, but then you realized that it was your brother that had passed. So what happened for you in that moment when you saw this person and you realized that you were seeing something that wasn't necessarily in your view?
Yes, I mean that was the actually the first time ever I saw that. And my brother actually, he was getting, because it was about 3 years then that my husband, at the time, he was in America, and every year we could say, well, when can I come and join you? When can I come and join you? And my family started saying, like, he doesn't want you anymore. So my brother said, before his wife birthed their second child, said, I'm going to go get my passport. I'm going to take you to Turkey, to American embassy, because in Iran, after revolution, we don't have American embassy. So I can take you and the kids there. Maybe they can feel, they see you and they can feel sorry for you. I mean, it's been 3 years. And the day that actually the day before what I had that vision, I saw him and say, hey, when are you gonna go get your passport? And he said, soon, I promise soon, before he left the house. I didn't know that he was traveling out of a state where I was in Iran, and I didn't know that he was coming back and he got in a car accident. None of those, at the moment that I had that vision, making sense anymore. I was really scared, frightened. I was living with my mom and two of my brothers that time, that moment, and then I did not say anything to anyone. I was cooking dinner. I was just that vision just going in my mind over and over and over and over again until like 10, 11 o'clock at that night, when we got a phone call that asking, do you have any idea where your brother is? Or asking my mom, where is your son? Because his wife was looking for him. And then I just knew that my brother is gone. I had no idea how, when, what, but that vision made sense to me. So it took us until we had to travel 8 hours in the middle of the night to go where his wife was. And, we saw that they told us that he passed away. For the people that at the first time, and I get that from lots of people, I hear that they see a vision that is about something bad is either gonna happen or has happened, and it's frightening, it is scary. And for me, I was angry at God, I was angry at life. I did not want to see something like, why, God, you showed me something that I had no power over it. Why didn't you show me something before so I could intervene, so I could save my brother's life and everything? And to this day, I believe that vision was my brother coming, knocking on my door as he was just transitioning, say, hey, I'm getting goosebumps as I say that he gave me the baton, that you are on your own, sister. You are on your own, and you are gonna change the world because the world needs you.
Mm, mm, mm. That's profound. That's very profound. And I would suspect, just from my own connection with my own special angels and guides that work with me, that the collective is listening and going, oh, thank you. I needed to hear that. So here's the thing, folks, that I am a firm believer with, is that we are on the right track. You listening, you're on the right track. And there's a reason that you're here now. So if you're in a place where you're like, oh my goodness, I needed this so much, and you want to tell your story, connect with us, please. You can call us. You can write in at Transformation Talk Radio and let us know that you're listening. Let us know that you want to have confirmation. If you have a question, ask a question and we can give you an answer, right? In the meantime, if you're wondering if you can get ongoing support from Soodabeh, you can go to, what's your website that they can go to?
My website is my name, soodabehmokry.com. Everything, my social media, everything is my name. So it is easier for anybody to find me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you are giving a gift away of a meditation, I believe that you said?
Yes, absolutely. There is a link to my website. The moment that you log in, you get the link for a free meditation for relaxation and healing, because those meditation are the time that we connect with God, with universe, with source, with our angels, and that relaxation allows us to hear, to feel, to see, and create more connection with the source.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. All right. So let's talk a little bit more about the connection and how you transitioned. Well, I don't know. Are you still a nurse now?
I am still a nurse. Yes,
Okay.
I
All
work
right.
with
Great.
cancer patients.
Okay, great. So you work with a lot of folks that are transitioning out of the human form and connecting to source. And do you find that they are really helped by your presence with them and you're able to share your spiritual journey with them as they're transitioning?
Absolutely, that is a great question. That brings me to about when I moved here to America almost 30 years ago, and I learned about their spirituality and working with a coach. And she said that, Soodabeh, you are a healer. I'm like, say what? She said, you are a healer. So I was working night shift in a hospital, and in the floor, it was about the cardiology floor unit, but we were getting at that moment, the nights specifically that I was working, we would get the patients that they were really really sick and they were transitioning to the other side, and I would go to the room, and I had no idea who I was as far as the connection with the angels. I didn't know what I needed to do. It was my learning experience. At that moment, I knew about angels, but I didn't know what is it that I need to do because I was just opening up, learning about the connection. And I would feel the room, it was the energy, I would feel a present because I'm a feeler. And coming to this point, before I go into explaining exactly, I just want to tell our listener that everybody is different. Some of us feel, some of us hear, some of us know, like that kind of a knowingness, some kind of a wisdom, and some of us are able to see. So don't go by the thing that I experience and wanted to be Soodabeh, for example, or wanted to be Pam, because working with my coach, I wanted to be her, but I would always tell her, but I cannot be like you or do like you. And say, Soodabeh, you are different. So at that moment that I was with my patient, I would feel that the temperature of the room would become a little bit cool. Not is like a cool, scary, cold, frozen. It's just such a gentle, cool temperature that I could feel that there is something going on in that room. And it was never would make me scared or frightened. I will feel that the thought would pop in my head that put my hands on the patient, that they were in agony, they were in pain, they were breathing so hard. And the moment that I would do that, I would tell them, the thought would come to my mind like I was getting a download of message, like, it's okay, you are okay, your angels are here, you are going to be okay. And they were hooked to monitor because it was a cardiac unit. And my coworker was they would see that every time I would go to a room, the patients, their blood pressure would go down, their heart rate would go down, they weren't in distress. And I would see that the next night that I would go to work, and I will hear that they transitioned the next morning. So
Mm.
it seemed like I was the vessel to help these particular patients, that helped them to transition peacefully with dignity, and knowing that their angels, their loved ones on the other side are waiting for them to greet them, so they would pass there.
Mm.
That
Beautiful.
that took me a while for me to understand how to do that work. And then my coworkers realized that, Soodabeh, what is going on? I like, to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing, but this is how I feel, and I am helping. And they became a believer. Like, and when somebody would be in that space, they would send me, and I would go and I would help them to bring peace. And I wasn't with them at the moment that they would transition, because it would always happen about the next day, in less than 24 hours.
Mm. So you became a messenger. through
Yes.
that process. That's beautiful. So
Yes.
how would you say your life has shifted from that first experience of nursing to who you are now? Have you added to your toolbox as a
Yes.
healer?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, there was in 2014 that there was a seminar held by Hay House and to talk about, being an angel messenger, an angel practitioner. It was when that I received the message that I need to go and become a certified hypnotherapist because I would bring that mindset aspects of it, how to rewire the mindset and that subconscious mind that I was talking before the age of 6 and 7. The hypnosis, we're working with a trained hypnotherapist, it can help to transform the mind of not good enough to an empowering thing. And that's how I have transformed my life as well, working with angels, learning other tools. And that is how I help with my clients in my private practice, or even with my patients that they are in a cancer, they are experiencing cancer, they are receiving treatment. I take them through a guided meditation, guided imagery that brings them healing, calmness. And when we are calm, then our body can heal to a different level from the illness, this ease of the body, to calmness and the healing that our body is meant to do.
I love that. I love that. So here's the thing that I'm hearing as you're talking is that um, in this time and space at 2024, we've been dealing with since 2020, we've been dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic that took over the whole world. And that there are still people today that are dealing with some of those effects long term. There's a long-term effects like sleeplessness and depression and kind of a brain fog and that kind of thing. Um, and it also occurs to me that there's still a lot of fear in the world about where we're going from here forward. So I think what would be really helpful, if you're willing to, is to connect in with the angels and ask for a message for the collective, so that they can get some peace from here forward for their day. How does that feel to you? Are you willing to do that?
Yes, that would be great. I am always and constantly receiving the download. So, as you were talking, the message that came to me, and the message that was the beginning of my journey, was the first thing that you do, because our mind can focus either on fear or on love. So the first step would be to get out of the fear, just turn off all the news channel that you are focusing on that is giving you all the fears that somebody did something or what is coming and everything. That was the beginning of my journey as well. And then when you are in that fearful state of mind, the only thing that we can do, and Pam, you did it at the beginning of this show, that bring your attention to your breathing, bring your awareness to your breathing. And as you do that, because we are born specifically with at least 1 to 2 guardian angels, that they are with us 24/7 from the moment that we are born until we transition the other side. So when we are in that space of quietness, connecting with our breath, and help to feel that your legs are a trunk of a strong tree, and from the bottom of your feet there are roots going deeper and deeper into the core, the center of the earth, because we want to be able to ground ourselves to feel what is it going on in our body. as we connect with the source energy, as we connect with our angels. And the angels will automatically help bringing peace and relaxation into our breath. And with focusing one breath, deepening that, inhaling slowly and holding that breath and exhaling. Just doing these few minutes and stay in the place, because angels are saying in that very moment right now, all is well. Is that this moment? And as I speak one more word, that moment is gone, right? We go to the next moment. So bringing this being present, we have heard being in the present moment by connecting with the energy of the earth, with the energy of the source. If you are a religious person, that is okay. Connect with that source that you call God or whatever it is, because God, Creator, created angels to help us, because it is easier for us to hear our angels, because that is their job, that is their duty. Sometimes we say, I don't want to ask my angel because other people may need the angels. That is not true. Those are your personal guiding guides, your angels, that they are there. Their job is to help us, to love us unconditionally, to support us, to provide for us. Our job as being in this human form is to follow what we are, the thought that pops in our head.
Yep.
If we don't follow what we think we should do, we are not following the guidance, and that is when we can go wrong. Otherwise, they are here, they love you, they support you, they provide for you, they protect you. Follow the guidance, the dream in your heart, and you will succeed to create and manifest everything that you desire.
Mm, mm. So hopefully you heard that, those of you listening. And if you missed that, if you were out of range of what Soodabeh just mentioned, we come back to Pam's conversation with you about asking. Ask and you will receive. That's what the message is. Ask to be shown, ask to receive, ask to be willing, right? Because that's the key. The angels are absolutely 100% available to you. And when needed, they will intervene. And here's the deal. Here's the magic sauce, if you will. They're waiting. They're waiting to help you. And when you say yes, and when you say please, then they're jumping up and down going, yeah, I could do even more, right? So that's the thing, is that as conscious beings, it's up to us to say, I'm ready. It's up to us to say, okay, please bring more. It's up to us to let go of all the stops and be willing to be supported in every way possible. So in the last few minutes, why don't you share with us anything that you're up to in 2024? Any new books, any more workshops, any one-on-one things or group things that you're doing? Please share with us.
Yes, thank you. Currently I am working one-on-one, but my angels have told me that the third book is coming, so I am working on finding what is it that they want me to write about.
Great. And how do people find your books?
My books are on Amazon, also my website. If they go to my website, everything that they need is in there, and the link to the all of the hypnosis session, the meditation, and also the books.
Okay, great. So for those of you who are wondering now, how do I spell her name? Would you please tell them how to spell your full name so that they can hear it, and then write it down if you're needing to write it down. So how do you spell your name, Soodabeh?
Is Soodabeh Soodabeh Mokry.com.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. And if you're driving or if you're doing something else where you weren't able to write it down, it is in the advertisement for the show, but you can also contact Transformation Talk Radio or Pam Bright, and I will share with you that information, and I will get you hooked up with Soodabeh for this beautiful 15, I think it's a 15-minute or so meditation that you have, and connect with her. Get her service, right? Get connected to what is most important for you in this moment. So thank you, folks, for tuning in. I'm so grateful that you're here. Thank you, Soodabeh, for showing up and being such a beautiful light in the world and sharing with the audience who you are and what you have to offer. And thanks for being on task for
Thank you,
what you're
Pam.
here for. Yeah, you're here on a mission, and I love it that you're so available. So you guys, this life is up to you. As I always say, make it a great one, and connect anytime to brightbutterflynetwork.com or to soodabehmokry.com. And we look forward to connecting again when you're ready. Take good care of yourself. Many blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Empower Me Show with Pam Bright on Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to learn more about living a fully empowered life. Remember that your life is up to you, and you can choose the spiritual path you are on. There is spiritual energy and wisdom in everything and everyone around you. Listen carefully for what the universe is trying to tell you in every moment. You are already being guided along your journey. Call upon your spirit guides anytime you need help with anything. Know that you are safe in every moment, even if it seems that you are not. For more information about Pam Bright, visit brightbutterflyenterprises.com or email theempowermeshow@gmail.com. Thank you very much for listening. We hope to see you next week.